Okay, here we go. Today's show, we're going to do boiler caps. Slight interruption, but yeah, the classic boiler cap works good. No reason to change it. Bakelite. The older ones are nice, heavy metal. But some of the newer ones all plastic, a little chintzy. But yeah, the boiler cap. And I've done a couple, when I do my art machines and things. And this was the Dalek one, the very first one I did. That was for the Doctor Who machine, right? Really good. I just basically flatten the top and then I attach the Dalek. The catch with doing it this way, you always need a new gasket, and I had to position it so the Dalek was facing forward when it tightened down. So it's pretty neat. I might have done it a different way now, but I always like that one. I use these. I order from I don't remember where, in Lincoln or something, but yeah, these are what I use. It's just a nice little adapter. A lot of people sell them. You can do that and make yourself whatever type of top you want. So that's where I did my next one. This is really just a standard. It's really a base for my other one I was making. It's just a pre-done wood. It makes a pretty good top though. It doesn't get hot, fits on, looks pretty good. Has a lot Pavoni. And on this one, the style I did, because it has a magnetic top, because this top was really made right there. So it's decorative. You probably don't leave the the ornament on it while you're making coffee, but see it, how good does it do? That does pretty good. So I have it magnetic, and that was a good way to attach it. I might have done something like that with the Dalek the other time, but this is ornamental. This is for the Goddess machine. We'll do some more shows on all those, but yeah, I really like this one, so that's why I did it. And then when you don't have the Goddess on there, you can just have a little La Pavoni badge. So that's pretty cool. And so that's when I got to this one. I wanted to make something, because I like my steam whistles, and I was doing all those adaptations. So what I did, because I wanted to run, a Stirling engine. I thought of a steam engine, but a little complicated. And then I realized with Stirling engines, a lot of time they're assembled with a magnet in there. So you can't do the magnet because it won't work. Because I made one that way. That's how I learned that. And I go, oh, well, that makes sense. But anyway, so I did this. And what I did was I got a solid bar of aluminum, right? And that's what I attached on to my adapter. And that aluminum gets hot because I wanted heat to come up to run that, but I also wanted to be able to touch it. So I used some Sugru and just made a simple design. And since it's kind of whimsical, I left it a whimsical design. So that's pretty cool. And what goes on is that goes down. And then how I attached it was just a little ring of Velcro I made. Nothing fancy. And then that goes on there. So as the heat transfers up, it's enough to warm the Stirling engine, and that'll get going. So maybe we'll run this. I haven't ran it in a long time, but that's pretty cool. So we may just go ahead and see how this works. I haven't done it, but the only other thing I did was with the rubber base for this one, because it was marking everything up, and I washed it, and I used a few different, like baking soda, and did a few things, but it's still, when you ran your fingers, no matter what, it was marking. So, I just goofed around. I sprayed a thin, like I do in my paint jobs, a thin clear coat on there. And you know what? It stays pretty good. It dried. It doesn't crack so far. And yeah, it's not marking anymore. So well, we can give that a test too and put that just back on. This is that really old one I did. So the edge is really rough on it. But it did work. And there's a whole reason that it has to stay with these parts, because I like it that way. And then let's just go ahead. Plus this base is a little irregular too, because it was really rusting in a box, but the challenge was to get everything in that box into a machine, and I did do it. So that is what I like about it. So we'll get this on. There we go. We got to kind of work it over the rough spots. But it's back on again. I don't have the metal plate on there because the asbestos thing, and I don't know if it's really necessary with this. Because some of the rubber bombs do have the round hole, And this happens to be one without it, so that's what's pretty cool about that rubber bottom. All right, let's go ahead and we'll fill this thing with water. This is the only machine I have with the plastic cover. I'm going to get the metal guard. I have one actually for it, but there's the water coming up. The one thing about these guards, they're easy to take off, and it's easier to get the sight glass out with these than the metal ones. But I do like the metal ones better, but the one this came was with that, so there we go. All right, bring it up to temperature. This one also I did an L gauge with the back loading gauge, just because I like the looks. And on some of the gauges, this wouldn't fit because it was a little too high, but only on a couple of them because I have some different sizes. But let's bring it, it's almost there. Let's see what she does. So the cap's on. Velcro rings go together. That way the heat can come up through the aluminum and warm just enough so that we can hopefully create the desired effect. So we're almost there. I think we're just about to blow. It's a great old machine. It's the only one with the rocker switch I have, but I rebuilt that rocker switch a few times now. There we go. Down to 1. And she's going, and sometimes this will even start on its own, but you just got to let it warm up a minute. So there it goes. So we're generating enough up here. Stirling engine. Look at that, works on hot air. It's like a low pressure, yeah, they're really cool. It's like this is a kid's toy. Pretty darn neat. And so you can monitor by the RPMs, you can monitor your heat and steam, and it's using a heat source and a power source to do something else, which is fun and whimsical. I don't know what type of, it's not necessarily a super purpose, but it kind of is because it gives you a temperature release. Perhaps it modifies out and keeps a steadier temperature. But look at that, that's the Stirling engine. Heat rising through the aluminum. And then with the Sugru, it gets a little hot, not too bad. So you can, I might design something differently there. I was thinking of a motorcycle grip even over that, or some type of heat resistant, but not too bad. And there it is. Yeah, Stirling engine. The new base seems to work good, even with the kind of modified thing. So that little spray, just a light coating, stopped it from marking, hopefully, but we'll see over time what it does. So we'll be able to see if that's a way to save some of these old rubber ones, even though mostly I've gone over to the new plastic. But there we go. The one and only, another original by Stevie and the Art of La Pavoni Espresso. We might switch to the Art of Espresso with the Espresso couple, so don't be shocked if you see our name change once. We're not sure about it, but yeah, there it is, the Stirling engine, the only one. And another original, steam whistle first, Stirling engine now, look at that. So it's totally cool. And also the other thing is that when you turn your machine off, well, you'll know that it cooled down when that stops spinning, because that'll keep going for a while. All right. We had a lot of fun today. But anyway, get ready. Your next show, tomorrow's Sunday. That's when we usually film. We're going to do our last South America, Venezuela. The coffee looks pretty good, and then we're off to the Caribbean. Anyone who knows, ideally we like to order the beans from the island, have it shipped here, but that's not always possible. But, somewhere that has some pretty darn good ones they do and have a single source from each island, that's what we're looking for. And we like to switch it around, but if we find someone who does a lot of good ones, we might order a couple from them. But anyway, yeah, there it is. Once again, the Stirling engine.